going to do first, we're going to start off by introducing one of the sponsors. Throughout the training, throughout the presentation and all that stuff, we're going to have a few sponsors speak. And we handpicked certain sponsors to be involved in these events because we want to make sure it benefits you, not because we want them to sponsor. And I had one of the, I was fortunate to be a young lady that works for a builder called VRB Homes. And they're normally not a corporate builder, large builders, they don't get involved in a lot of these events. But I dragged her out here not because she's good at what she does, but because she has some products, she has inventory home, she's paying commission, and as you know, as a realtor, as we're transitioning into this buyer's market, or we're in this buyer's market, you know, that's why you're here to learn how to generate leads. You need product to sell, and it's always good to be strategic. She has an amazing price point, good for first-time home buyers, good for a little bit higher end as well. And me being on the lending back side, we've come up with some products where they're willing to pay the closing costs. I have products that will give your client the down payment. They're basically buying a house for $1,000. New construction, closing costs paid, inventory, gated communities, clubhouses, a little all different types of products. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Natalie.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Natalie Mendez. I work with DRB Homes. I've been in the business for the past 6 years. I am in the area of St. Cloud. I put some of the price sheets on you guys' table. Whoever doesn't have one, I'll go ahead and leave them at the top of the bar. DRB Homes, not a lot of people know of us. We're very new to the Florida market. We actually opened up our first community last year in St. Cloud, where we have bungalows. The bungalows have the option to be built with a suite or a study or a studio above the garage, which is what a lot of people want, the next gen. We also have townhomes starting in Harmony. All of those price points are going to be between $320 from the townhomes and up, and our bungalows with the studio above the garage. Our last ones in the current community, we have $463 and up. Now, I'm going to be opening up another community in St. Cloud, so whoever does that area, my information is on the price sheet. I always send out not emails, but videos and the updated price sheet, so if you guys ever want any updated inventory, just go ahead and text me, or you guys can send me on WhatsApp. DRB is also in Tampa. We are in Polk County, Eldora, Winter Garden. What's different about us? I can't talk today. What's different about us is the way that we build. I can tell you guys that being in the industry, I've had instances where I've closed a home that has ticket items for warranty. I have not had any issues with any of my closings. We do 2M inspections for every home throughout the entire building process, so the houses are ready to move in by the time your clients close. So there's no warranty tickets. I mean, obviously, if anything happens along the way, then they'll call warranty, but there's no blue tape in the houses whenever you guys close or anything like that. Each of our communities have different incentives. We do the up to 6% for closing costs. I know John's gonna go ahead and go over like the programs and everything that they have. And certain communities, for example, my Harmony community with the townhomes, we do have a bonus of $2,500, and that is going to be an asking price. Certain inventory homes, they do have all appliances. Normally, they don't come with fridge, washer, or dryer, but that's something we can always negotiate. Also, this is the end of my quarter, so if you guys have anybody, I always tell everybody the end of the quarter is like the best time to like negotiate with your buyers and in DRB. And let me see what else. I have single family too, not just the bungalows, not just the townhomes. My new community is going to be opening up on Narcoosea and 192. We're going to be opening up in about a month and a half or so. So if you guys want me to send you guys the inventory again, just let me know. And I think that's it. Now she has to go to work. She has clients waiting for her. So we appreciate your time.
Like I said, I'll talk more in detail later about that because the products we have, you have clients that have credit, you have clients that have the income but they have no money because they live check to check but they've always paid their bills on time. We can get them into our home. That's more, what $1,000 getting them into the home and almost paying the same thing they're paying rent. There's definitely a lot of opportunity there. Like she said, at the end of the year, the incentives are going to be really good. I know we can't beat her up too much, but let's get on the phones. Let's do phone nights. Let's call your old leads, good leads, bad leads. I'm willing to do whatever to make it work. Now, okay. Now the moment you guys have been waiting for, some lady right here. I've been impressed with her. I've seen some of her stuff on social media, and I've also been fortunate to have her join part of the team over here with us, and we've been doing some events together. And one of these is her classes, which is going to talk about lead generation. Lead generation is a very important art. Sometimes we forget in this industry. When the market's good and we're order taking, and not trying to insult you, but when business is coming in, your phones are ringing. You kind of forget these little things, little steps to do to create business. And being probably almost aging myself, 26, 27 years in the industry. Back in the day when we didn't have social media and all that stuff, we had to pound the pavements, we had to hit the phones, we had to do all these extra things. So these are some little reminders that she's going to kind of go to, that if we can make them positive habits in our industry and our practice, will probably help you create more business and give you a few sales a year on top of what you're doing already. So I'm excited for this class because lead gen always gets my attention. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. A little about me. My name is Jade Marx. I'm a dual licensed mortgage broker and realtor. But I learned very early on that I love lead generating, I love cold calling, I love email marketing, I love postcard campaigns. But I did not love the art of selling and buying a house. I applaud you guys for the emotional whirlwind that you guys go on by actually helping people buy and sell houses. I am just too anxiety ridden for that. So I have built a referral business that allows me to generate leads and pass them on for referral fees. So like John said, I've partnered up with Model Mortgage to bring you guys the Realtor Lead Lab community, which is going to be weekly Zoom calls and a monthly mastermind like this. I'm a dog mom. I have a 14-year-old brown lab, but he's 14 years old, so he is graying out on me. I refuse to believe that he's aging though, so we won't talk about it. I'm Cuban and Puerto Rican. I was born here in Florida, but I was born in Hialeah. So if anybody knows anything about Hialeah, that's as buonasa as it gets. Like, I'm as close to Cuba as it is, but I was born in Hialeah. And I speak a Spanglish, not a fluent Spanish. We speak Spanglish down there, but it gets me far enough. And if you guys do not follow me on TikTok, I'm the cold calling closer. I do a lot of objections and rebuttals and live cold calls with sellers. So take a peek, give me a follow. So what our weekly calls will consist of. Today we're going to touch on like a lot of lead gen strategies so I can get a feel for what you guys are currently doing and what you guys want to learn more about. But moving forward, each week we'll have a special training where we're going to dive into it and learn what's actually tactical, relevant, and bringing in business. We're going to talk about accountability because real progress starts with real accountability. We'll be talking about numbers you should be hitting and numbers you are hitting and compare that to the results that you guys have. We'll be talking about mindset. Lead generation is 80% mindset. It's really hard to keep a good mindset when you're dealing with a lot of rejection. So we're going to constantly be focused on reframing our mindset to stay positive. Support. You're not doing this alone. A lot of new agents come into this industry thinking it's a one-man band, and it's not. The faster you find the team, the better off you'll be. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to foster a high-trust environment, build a team for you guys, and just collaborate. And then, of course, live implementation, because practice means nothing without doing, so every training will have live execution. So let's talk a little about what you guys are doing right now. What is your guys' favorite lead generation that's bringing in the most business? Anybody?
Repeats, customers,
Referrals. Okay, we love referrals.
working with me.
Duh, we're good about Adaliz. She is the answer to all. Cold calling, anybody?
Instagram.
No. Instagram, social media. all popular ways to lead gen. Door knocking, open houses, the list goes on. What lead gen do you think is the most effective?
The cold calling.
Okay.
The one that you do the follow-up with.
Oh, whatever strategy.
Yeah, just follow
Follow-up,
up.
okay.
That's the most effective.
One that can be consistent.
The one you do consistently. Anybody else?
It all works.
Huh?
It all works if you work.
It all works if you work, period. Okay, well, believe it or not, it is cold calling. The proof is in the pudding. There are studies to show this. So NAR did a study in 2023, and it's finding that 64% of sellers found their agent through a referral or they were directly contacted by their agent, which supports the idea that personal outreach like cold calling can be far more effective than passive marketing efforts. And then RedX, which is a lead software, did a lead gen survey in 2022, and they found the top producing agents consistently ranked cold calling as their #1 lead generation. Agents who made 15 and 30 calls per day reported the most predictable income and listing volume. And those who consistently cold called FISBOs, expires, and social prospecting leads outperformed those relying on social media or referrals. And then the Keller Center of Research, it's a Fusion University, did one in 2011, but it's still widely cited in like the sales world. And they found that 1 out of every 59 cold calls resulted in an appointment or referral. And that might not sound like a lot, but if you knew that you had to only call 59 people to get a listing appointment, how fast would you go through those 59 people? And that's not even a good conversion rate. That's probably like a newbie salesperson who's not been practicing their scripts. And it's still low, and that 1.7 success rate, it seems small, but the compounding effect, like if you did 60 calls every day and it guaranteed you a listing appointment every day all week, that's 5 listing appointments. And that's why top coaches like Tom Ferry and Ricky, I don't know how to say his last name, preach 90 minutes of prospecting, and that's outbound calling. That's why it works the best. It works, it's direct, and it's fast. You're not waiting for an algorithm or an ad to work. You're not waiting for a referral. It builds your skills and confidence fast. Nothing's better than practice, okay? The more you do, the better you get. You get instant feedback immediately.
59 answer call.
59 answered calls, yes. I think to get 59 people on the phone, you have to call like 200, yeah.
It's only 10% of what you're calling.
To get answers, because not everybody answers. You have to call a lot of numbers to get those answers. And you can scale it really fast if you're using dialers like Vulcan or Moco and scripts. First things first, mindset reset, and that's why I talk about it being so much mental work, because it's really hard to keep a good attitude when you're constantly being told to F off on the phone, okay? It's hard. You have to constantly reframe your thoughts and reframe your mind to stay positive and remember what you're doing, okay? So for example, how we're gonna reset our mind. When we're cold calling, we cannot be thinking of it like we're bothering people or we're looking to pitch someone, we're looking to sell something. You are looking for the person that's looking for you. I promise somebody's looking for your help, and you're just finding that person. Your job is not to convince anybody. Your job is to find the person who's already raising their hand. Following up is not being annoying, and it's not unprofessional. Not following up is unprofessional. It's literally your business. Following up is the professional thing to do. You're not being annoying, I promise. And then scripts. A lot of people don't want to follow scripts because they're scared to sound like a robot. You're not supposed to follow it word for word. It's just supposed to be your guide. You're supposed to have a skeleton there in case someone throws you something that you haven't heard before. It just helps you come up with an answer quicker. An affirmation that helps me stay positive and remember that I'm not a nuisance to people and to make you feel is telling myself that I'm a solution provider and every call I make is a chance to help somebody. Why rejection is part of the process. The biggest reason that people do not make cold calls is because they are scared of rejection. Raise your hand if you're scared of rejection. I'm scared of rejection. I'm still scared. Every time I make a phone call, my heart is racing. I don't know why my body does not know the difference between calling a stranger and being lost in the woods. I just don't know the difference. And the key is to do it scared. It gets better after the first one. Just do it scared. And remember, especially in lead generation. I know, so I look at it like I'm not chasing yeses. If I chase yeses, I'm going to become so uninspired because you're not going to hear a lot of yeses. So I chase no's. I stack no's. I know that once I get to the 30th no, I have a listing. So besides changing your mindset to think like that, you have to remember it's a numbers game. The more people you reach out to, the more chances you'll get, the more yeses you'll get. Not everybody's ready yet. You're looking for the people that are. Rejection isn't personal. If they knew you personally, they obviously wouldn't reject you, right? It's the idea. They're rejecting the process. They're rejecting the timing. So keep your emotions out of it and stay focused on finding the people who are willing to free. Every no is a future opportunity, especially with FSBOs. I don't know if you guys know how fast they convert, but you'll call them like the second they went on the market and they're like, nah, I got this, like realtors suck. 2 weeks later, they're like, no, please help me. This is so hard. They convert so quickly. So every no is not no, it's a not now, okay? I am not stopping until I'm blocked or the house is sold, okay? It builds resilience and confidence. Nothing gives you tougher, stronger skin than dealing with rejection on a daily basis. So just keep practicing because the more you practice, the better you get. I knew at the beginning, every call I made, I sucked. Like I knew it. I was like, oh my god, I suck. I still have to do this. You get better after you do it. And even the best agents get rejected. I am told to F off all the time. Top producing agents are still dealing with rejection. The difference between top producing agents and just the ones that are struggling are their ability to keep going despite. Bottom line, rejection isn't failure. It's just part of the process. And now do you want to talk now? I kind of put all the sponsors in between. So I have the sponsors in between to give their little spiel. I am going to let him give another spiel.
I mean, you kind of heard my background. I am hands-on when I work with realtors. Like I said, if you guys are interested, and I will be reaching out to you through text or email or phone call. I would love to set up a call night. I would like to target inventory. I would like to see how we can get the best deals. DRB being an example. There's other builders. I don't want to say it in front of her, but there's other builders I do work with. DRB I felt like had the best product for the price point and the location. They're giving 6% on FHA. 4% will cover most of the closing costs. I threw another 2 points with the interest rate. Now we have a 5% interest rate. A client that qualified for $250,000 now qualifies for $350,000. Now you have a deal. Because how many of us have sent leads to a lender? They pull the credit, they pull the income, said great, 800 credit, but the income is this. You only qualify for 225, and that does not really exist in this area unless you're getting a manufactured home or a lot older home in the state streets in St. Cloud, or just lucky finding a deal, but most likely it's going to need a lot of repairs. So there's a lot of huge opportunities. At the end of the quarter, these builders want to get rid of this inventory. There's so many things that we can do with that. And there's a lot of listings that have been on the market 60 days plus that we can also target as well. So not to get too in detail, like I say, here talk about FHA, USDA, VA, everybody knows those are simple programs that any lender can do, but not everybody can think out of the box and get in the trenches and get on the phone with you so we can get deals and we can get more closings. That was pretty much it. And what she's doing, what she's saying is so true. I'm scared every time I make a phone call, but I'm that guy that's calling me on Mondays and Tuesdays saying, hey, work with me. And I know I'm going to get rejected majority of the time. My number from my mortgage code says I have to call 100 realtors to get 16 appointments. So that gives you an idea of what I got to go through, or what you guys go through on the other side for buyers and for listings and things like that.
Thank you. Okay, so besides mindset, what do you think the key is to securing that appointment with the seller when you're on the phone with them? Any ideas, any guesses? Just from this point. Anyone?
Provide value.
Provide value, okay, good.
Make them laugh.
Make them laugh, yes.
Relate to them.
Relate to them. Sweet, sweet. So the key is actually a well-crafted, oh, what the heck? Okay, try again. A well-crafted script. So, like I talked before, it's not something that you're going to follow word for word. It's just your guide to schedule that appointment. That is the goal of your cold call if you want to schedule a listing appointment. The first thing about a script is a strong opening that captures attention. These people, like FSBOs and expires, are getting called all the time. You cannot sound like every other agent they've heard. You have to do what's called a pattern interrupt. They're expecting you to sound like everybody else. They're expecting a pattern. You have to interrupt that pattern. And like he said, make them laugh. I have a rule. I will not pitch a prospect until I've made them laugh. So make them laugh and then ask permission. Permission-based openers just are a sign of respect. Like, I respect your time. Can I please have it? So my favorite opener is, I always say their name. I don't even say hey. I'm just like, Mike, and then they'll reply. I'll be like, hey, this is Jade. I'm a local realtor, and I know I'm the 100th one to call you today, but if you give me 20 seconds, I'm also going to tell you why I'm going to be the last. They're going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What did you just say? Like, what are you even talking about? You just bought yourself 5 extra seconds because they weren't expecting you to say that, and they're kind of curious as to what you had to say. So now that you've bought yourself 5 more seconds, this is not your chance to pitch. Just because you've made them laugh and you've asked permission, this is not your chance to pitch. Now it's your chance to start talking and ask questions that start conversations. Engaging questions. You want them to start talking for 2 reasons. People feel closer to you and like they trust you more the more information you give them. That's why the idea that people trust their therapist so much when they know nothing about them is because they know so much about them. So let them talk. The more they talk, the more they're going to trust you. And the more they talk, you're going to be able to find what their pain point is. What happened last time? What's their pain point and how do I position myself as the solution to their pain? For an example, many sellers I talk to say they didn't get the right offers. I have a proven strategy to attract buyers. Are you open to hearing it out? They could not find buyers last time. They tried to sell, they couldn't. I know how to find them. Are you open to hearing them? Be their solution. And be ready to overcome objections. Nobody's going to trust a stranger. And the fact that they're giving you objections means you're in the game. Because the opposite to that is them hanging up. Objections are a good thing. They are just concerns that need to be addressed. And there's only so many objections they can come up with, you know? So you should have a script with all of those objections so you have the rebuttal on the tip of your tongue. I like to read my scripts like 30 minutes before I start cold calling just so I have those answers on the tip of my tongue. And then close with the next clear step. Like I said in the beginning, you want to just set an appointment. That's all you want to do. So get to that as soon as possible. My calls, I don't want them to be longer than like 5 minutes. So try to set the appointment as quick as possible. My favorite way to do it, not like that.
We need an example right now, if you don't mind.
How do I book an appointment?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to call me?
No, just do it real quick. I'll be like, hey, so I'm actually working with your neighbors. I'm going to be in your area around 3 or 4. What works better?
Ooh, I like that one.
So it's social testimonial, whatever, good word.
Testimonial?
Yeah, that. You're showing that you're working with your neighbors, so that gives them trust, like, oh, you're already working with people I trust. And then you're not giving them a yes or no answer. Does 3 or does 4 work better? And also you saying you're going to be in the area later, it's like, come on, it's convenient. I'm going to be there anyway. Let me goodbye, you know?
You're not giving them options.
There's no option. 3 doesn't work for, I have 5 or 6. Tomorrow. Like, no is not an option. No chance. Okay, so besides cold calling, I love direct mail marketing. The only difference is you can cold call for free. You pick up a phone and call FSBOs on Zillow, it costs nothing. Postcards is a little more expensive, so that's why I always say to start off with cold calling. But if you have the extra budget, let's talk about why direct mail still works. So I actually have an example. So it still works because tangibility makes an impact. Unlike your inbox, I don't know about your guys' email inbox, I have like thousands of open emails. Emails just get lost because emails are busy. In a mailbox, that doesn't happen, you know? You are not going to get forgotten as easily. You have more staying power in your house. And it builds trust and credibility. Receiving a well-designed postcard obviously makes them feel like you care more about them, you're more committed to them. It's also more authentic than any digital ad can be. It's more personal. And my favorite thing about it is targeted marketing. You can send this postcard to the exact person you want to talk to. So if you want to talk to high equity owners who have lived there for 30 plus years and they have 3 or more bedrooms, they're probably empty nesters looking to downsize. You can filter like so specifically, and that's so important because the more personalized your message is, the more likely you are going to get a response. That's why it's so awesome. Less competition in the mailbox. Besides the fact that it won't get lost in the mailbox, how many realtors are in your mailbox? 2. Yeah? I don't have any in mine, and most of the time people say none. Yeah?
Actually,
Well, are they your friends?
I have people from your office, that is.
So a few here and there, but there's not a lot of realtors in the mailbox. So you have like no competition. And studies still show that mailers have a higher response rate than emails and digital ads. This one is my favorite, the most high converting one for me, and it's because I think it's a 6x9, not a 4x6, so it's bigger than the postcards that are in the mail. There's black space, not white space, and the entire front page tells them exactly what's in it for them. So that's all they care about. The second they look at it, if they cannot tell what's in it for them, they don't care. So tell them what's in it for them immediately. Mine says unlock your home's equity, and then around it, fund dream vacation, purchase new home, renovate current home, just things they can do with that equity. You want to incentivize them to turn it around. And then, this is actually one I didn't send out, but on the back, you want your call to action. So this is how you're going to capture their information. They're not going to give you their email for nothing. They're going to give it to you in exchange for something. So mine says, stand to discover how much equity you've built and how to take advantage of it. So they want to see a map. They're going to give you their information in exchange for something. I'll pass it on. You guys want to share. Adaliz, you're up to talk. I figured you'd be good about postcards after. You're talking about
Hi, how are you? I'm Natalie from the Closing Circle. So I am no longer First American. My phone number 407-433-5197 is my new number. If you don't have it, update it please. And email info@theclosing circle. If you want marketing, orders at the Closing Circle, if it has to do with an order. So I changed. I have more yeses now. I could do more for you. We're investor friendly. We have attorneys. So I'm here for you for any of your marketing needs and title needs. Also, if you have an active listing that you want to work on, as she said, we still have the First American platform because we do underwrite with First American. So I do still have Ignite, but I also looked into more avenues, and we have Corfax. There we have the postcards. They're a little bit more expensive, but the cool thing is that we could co-brand, and it has a lead capture. So it has QR codes, because when you send out postcards, I used to get so many complaints. I'm spending hundreds of dollars every month. How do I know if they're getting them? I'm not getting phone calls. We don't know. I would always say, add a lead capture. I didn't really know how to do that, so I would just refer them to a friend of mine that knew how to do that. But now with Corfax, it's actually integrated in the postcards, which is really cool. And it has a farming area, so each postcard will be dedicated to that house. So it will show, like, you know, on Zillow when it has a little map and it shows every house that was sold around there. That's how the postcards come out. And they have the QR code, which anytime they scan the QR code, it goes to your phone. And you can track how many times they're scanning it. Which means, if I look at it, I scan it, and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Then I go and show my husband or another family member. Then it shows that I'm looking at it more than once. Then you know that's a high lead. So they're really cool. So we have Corfax, and then I also have another platform for digital marketing. So if you have an active listing right now, you want to start digital marketing on it, which is really good because if you have a stale listing, right? Let's say Polk County. In Polk County, people are not really purchasing that are local because they know, are purchasing resale because they know right across the street there's new construction. So it's going to be really hard to sell. But if you market outside of Florida, those people don't know that there's new construction. They don't know what the other offers. They just know it's close to Disney. They know it's a good price. It comes with a pool, and there's nowhere else in Florida, and it's close to Disney. So they're going to be like, oh, I'm interested in this property. Then they might come down, they might do a video, but you're getting a lead out of it. And if you market it correct, keep them away from the new construction, you can sell that property. So that's why the digital marketing is really good because you can do it outside of the state, outside of the country. So I have those platforms, and then I have a really cool calculator that helps you with the sale listings as well because it shows your clients you could do it like, you know, if you have a listing and they don't want to go down on the price, which is fine, you say, okay, so you want to sell at 300, but realistically, that's on the high end. Okay, so if you sell it for 250, we're going to sell it right off the market, like right away. If you list it at 300, it's going to sit for at least 6 months, and then you can show them how much they're actually spending and what it's costing them. So it has a lot of features. It's really cool. So if you want to sit down with me, learn the new products, or if you just want them, send me a text message. If you have the listing and you want the digital platform, I'm actually signing people up right now. So you can text me and I'll send it to you. And yeah, feel free to call me anytime. Thank you. Oh, also, is everybody getting my emails? If you're not getting my emails, raise your hand. You're not getting my emails?
Check your spam.
Check your spam. Take me off junk. If not, let me know if you're not getting them, because I do send monthly newsletters, things that are going on. Send me a text message and let me know you're not getting them, and I'll update my CRM. Thank you.
Speaking of email marketing, we are now going to touch on email marketing. Email marketing is one of the strongest assets you can have for your business, and that's why so many businesses will give you free things in exchange for your email. So we're going to talk about how we're going to build a strong email list. So we're going to target the right audience, and we're going to categorize and segment them into different categories. So past clients, frequent cold calls, website visitors, social media followers. They're all going to be part of your email marketing, but they're not going to get the same message because we have to personalize our message to these leads. To collect their emails, like I said, they're not going to give you anything for free. They want something in exchange. So you need to use a lead magnet to attract subscribers. A lead magnet, for example, is the postcard or anything like an ad, anything that attracts them to what you have, like an exclusive market report, a seller buyer guide, neighborhood insights, free consultation. Those are things that people are going to want in exchange for their email. When you're capturing those emails, studies show that people are so freaking lazy. If you do not have a form that is super easy to fill out, they're not going to fill it out. So you need a smart form. The QR code actually takes you to a smart form. And studies show that those kind of forms, which is like one question at a time and then the next question, instead of lengthy forms where you can see all the questions at once, those then go filled out. One question at a time, and sometimes don't even ask for their email, ask for their phone number and then collect their email through the phone number because people don't want to fill out their line numbers. And then keep your list clean and engaged. A big list of unresponsive emails is nothing, so you want to constantly go through it, constantly segment it, categorize your leads, remove people that are not opening your emails, remove people that are inactive, and constantly provide value, not just promotions. Don't just say, hey, just checking in. Say, hey, these homes just sold in your neighborhood for this. See how much you can get for yours. Something relevant to them that makes them want to engage. And then 5 is to stay compliant with email laws. A lot of email software programs do this on the back end. Just make sure that you always include the unsubscribe button and follow the CAN spam and GDPR regulations, which they do this for you in the back end. Lucky for you, I'm sharing emails that I have found that convert the best for sellers and buyers, and subject lines as well. Subject lines are so important because it's your first impression. It's their first impression to an email, so that's going to decide whether they open it or not. So 2 things that you need to get in your subject line: you need to put their name so they see that it's personal to them, and you need to have it incentivizing. For sellers, my favorite one that gets the most is first name, your home value just changed, see how. They see that and they're like, oh shit, what happened? Then they're going to reach out, and then your body's going to say, hey, I just ran some numbers and homes in blank area are selling for blank more than last year. Wondering how much your home is worth? Reply to this email and I'll send you a personalized home value report, no strings attached, with the bonus to help you. This is relevant to you, and you're also saying, to them, and you're also saying no strings attached, so you're saying no commitment, just let me know if you want it. That's why they're more likely to respond to that. And then for buyers, the subject line that I see works the best is just showing them houses in their price range that are going fast. So I kind of create urgency, like you need to see this now, like it's going to go fast. So I'll say 5 homes under blank price range that you need to see in the subject. And the body, I'll just say, I found a few homes in the area you're looking that matches what you're looking for. They're moving fast. You have to emphasize that to create urgency. So let me know if you want the details or to schedule a showing, and always insert the link, because 8 times out of 10, if they're interested, they are going to book a showing with you right after that email. Some things to keep in mind so that you do not get sent to spam and do not hurt your deliverability is do not use words like free in your subject line. Do not use act now. Do not use excessive punctuation. You'll get sent to spam. Use emojis sparingly. I love emojis. They grab attention, but they have to match your message. So just, a little bit. And then make it mobile friendly. Like 92% of my emails are open on the phone. So make sure that it looks good on the phone. Give it up for Jade Peters.
Slide was a lot better. Thanks for fixing that. So my name is Jay. I'm a home inspector in Central Florida. We do inspections everywhere from Tampa to kind of Daytona and among between. If you got a home inspector you like, continue using them, but store my info as a backup for the younger agents. That QR code goes to Instagram. For the older realtors, you can scan here and friend me on Facebook. If you guys need a permit for a property, text me the address. I'll send you the permits. My prices and sample reports are published on the website. I'm a resource, so utilize me. Contact me anytime if you have any questions or anything. That's all I've got. Mine's short and sweet.
Okay, so how each strategy complements the other. I know we all like to lean towards one that we like best or one that we think we're best at, but the truth is, utilizing all of them is your best chances. Multi-channel marketing works because it increases your visibility. They're going to see and hear your name across multiple platforms. It reaches different preferences. Not everybody's a phone person, not everyone's a text person, email. You want to make sure you hit all the bases and send your message across all platforms to get in front of them. And it strengthens your message. Repeated exposure builds trust and credibility. How each strategy supports the other. So cold calling introduces you to your prospect. You tell them what you have to offer, and then when they get your postcard, it builds credibility and it brings brand awareness. They could put not a face to it, but a voice to your face, I guess. They'll know it when they see it that it was you because you already introduced yourself. And then postcards, like I said, strengthen credibility and bring awareness. And then if someone's not answering your calls or your emails, the postcard is just another way to get in front of them. And then email and SMS are ways to keep leads engaged and informed. Low effort, high impact between calls and mailers. My favorite way to do it, a cold call. I introduce myself, I follow by an email, and then I reinforce it with a postcard. Studies show that it takes like 6 touch points before they can even reach out. So it's a lot of touch points that you need before you're going to get a response. So just calling them is not enough. You need to do it all multiple times. Segmentation and personalization. I talked about it a little bit, but I want to talk about it a little bit more because it is really important. Not all these are the same, and one size fits all method is not going to work. You need to divide your audience into specific groups and personalize your message to get the most engagement. So the power of segmentation, it allows you to send the right message to the right person at the right time instead of blasting a generic message and hoping that somebody relates to it. So ways to segment would be by lead type, buyers, sellers, investors, past clients, FSBOs. And then you also want to segment them by where they are in the stage cycle. Are they cold? You just got their number, you haven't even reached out. Or are they warm? You have talked to them, you have created that relationship. Or are they hot? They definitely need to do something in the next 6 months. And then geographic location helps too, because you can send all the people in the same place, the same message, because it's relevant to them. And then engagement level, you want to keep track of the people that are opening, people that are clicking and responding with you. And then personalization is so important because it feels more personal to them. They feel more valued. It increases trust and engagement. So some ways to personalize would be using their first name, using the neighborhood that they have showed desire in, referencing their interest, however you received them. If it was like through a seller ad, you could say, since you inquired about selling, here's a free guide. Always position yourself as an expert and provide value. And then acknowledge your past interaction. Acknowledge the last thing you guys talked about. We spoke last month about refinancing because you need the money to send your kid to college. Whatever it is, just bring turning it up so that they feel like, oh, she remembered this, she cares. Oh, I keep pressing. So sorry. The tracking and planning group, but that's not one, right? So a great lead generation strategy is only effective if you track your results. By monitoring your metrics, you can identify what's working and eliminate what isn't. So these are what you want to keep track of on all ends. When it comes to cold calling, you want to keep track of how many dials you're making per day or per week. And out of those dials, how many people are answering the phone, how many people are you setting appointments with out of those people that answered the phone, and what were your lead to client ratio. Postcards, you want to keep track of the response rate, the calls or inquiries from members, numbers of leads generated per campaign, and the ROI, which is the cost per lead versus closed leads. And then email and SMS, you want to keep track of who's opening, who's clicking, and who's responding. And then your overall pipeline performance, you want to know how many leads enter your pipeline from each month, how many convert to actual sales, and what lead source brought in the most business. You can't improve what you don't measure, so tracking progress helps you work smarter, not harder. Realtor Carpenter, one of our sponsors. Woo!
Hey guys, come on, get applause. All right, so it's April Carpenter with First American Home Warranty. There's many different arms to First American, so I'm on the home warranty side, right? I would like to share with you guys a tale, just a quick tale of two realtors. You ready? Okay. So Jay first is passing this information now. It's got my contact info on it. So take that and save it in your phone because you know you're going to throw it in the back of your car and then you won't be able to find me when you need me. That would just be tragic. So a tale of two realtors. Let's say 2 weeks after a closing, you get a phone call and you're excited, right? You're thinking, oh, they got a referral for me. Not exactly. They're calling you because the air conditioner's broken. They want to know what you're going to do about it. How are you going to help? Do you want to be that realtor that has to drop everything, leave this class, be on a call out on the sidewalk, help them find a guy who knows a guy to help fix it so they don't sue you or blast you on social media? Or do you want to be that agent that says, remember that home warranty we got for you at closing that the seller paid for? Relax, just call them, they'll take care of it. So that's the difference between a good agent and a great agent. Which one do you want? Great. All right. So that's where this comes in. So on the home warranty, on the as-is purchase contract, there's a line for it, a specific line just for me, 9E. Home warranty. There's a checkbox. Who's going to pay for it? The buyer, the seller. There's no box on there that says the agent's going to pay for it. I'm not asking you to go into your pockets. There's an NA box too. That means not applicable, right? How's that not applicable? They just drained their bank account like a Nigerian prince was in there trying to pay for the down payment and closing costs. So not applicable is not what NA means. If you are checking that box for your clients without discussing the home warranty, NA means not awesome. So I don't want you guys to be not awesome. Save my info and write it into the contract. Every contract, check the box. Seller's gonna pay for it. The company's First American Home Warranty, and our max plan is $800. I doubt you're gonna have a deal rejected over an $800 warranty. If they don't want it, gives you a negotiating point. So those are things that will help save your deals and get your referrals and get you more clients and closings. So save my information. Love to help you guys. That's what I'm for.
Okay, guys, now it's your chance to vote on what you guys want to dive into next class. It kind of just had a little bit of everything. What do you guys want to dive into next class and like really dive into?
Hands-on.
Hands-on?
Yeah.
Like what?
Doing
Roll call
the
it?
work. Yeah.
Scan the QR code for all the options. There's so many options. With your paper. I want to kind of pull it up to And also, that is a smart opt-in form. Those are the kind of forms that you want to send your buyers or your sellers to collect their information. That is how you capture leads efficiently. I kind of want to leave that up. The last page is just thank you sponsors. I'm going to leave this up for a